Hey y'all, welcome back to Tony TV, and it's time for the takeover. Challenge Wednesdays, we already back at it. So this week, episode 10, things are still heating up, it's getting better every episode. So don't forget, last week we ended off on a cliffhanger when Cory and Bettina beat Jeremiah and Amber B and sent them home. And at that point, TJ told them just to get back in line with everybody instead of picking a new partner. So everybody was shook, everybody was confused. We know what was going on because Tori didn't have a partner and Devin didn't have a partner. So they were both just like, we don't have partners, what's going on, it's not making sense. TJ told them to always be ready for anything to happen. So that's what we ended off last week. So we coming into this week, we see them, they go back to the house. Still, nothing's been said about the new partner situation or what's going on. We don't know, we still up in the air. But right now, Cory's mad at all the vets because they threw him down to elimination and they question his character and his gameplay. So he's not happy with them right now, specifically Kyle, Amanda, and Ashley. You feel like they tried him last week. And don't forget, him and Kyle had got into it because Kyle was saying how he doesn't trust Ashley and all this stuff. But yeah, he still decided to vote for Cory and not Ashley. So Cory feels a way about that towards Kyle. But everybody know Kyle's a snake. So Kyle just be talking. Kyle doesn't do much else in the house. But so then from there we get to the daily challenge. And this one's called Diamond Dash. Now as soon as they get there, TJ tells them that there's the new twist is that there's no longer teams. So we like, okay, no longer teams. That's all he done told them, y'all. So at this point, everybody's playing an individual game. People are excited. They get to play individually. You ain't got to worry about nobody being linked to you and bringing you down or anything like that. You just got to play your own game. But this does worry some of the rookies because now they're out there by themselves and they got to fend for themselves however they can. Specifically Priscilla, who did that big boss move a few weeks ago and sent in a rookie vet team and broke up the whole veteran alliance. So now she knows now she's by herself. It's easier for her to be a target because she's not linked to anybody else that can like stop them from wanting to send her in. So she shook up, so she knows she needs to win this challenge. Apparently, TJ says it's going to be in multiple parts. So the first part is they have to run down, I think it's like a mile, to like this big trash area. And within the trash, it's a bunch of hammers that they have to collect. So each player has to get their hammer out of the trash. They just have to dig for it until they find it, grab their hammer. Then from there, they have to go to find them an assignment. There's 3 different assignments they can choose from. One of the assignments, they look through a pair of binoculars to find their code that they need to unlock their safe to get their diamond out of. The second assignment is that they have to find a box that will fit into a wall so they can scale the other side of it. And then when they get to the other side of it, they can unlock their code. And from there, they use that code to unlock their safe with their diamond in it as well. Or they have the third assignment, which they have this big old paint board. And it has a painting on it of a skull. And you have to scratch that off in order to reveal your code. And then use your code to unlock your safe as well to get your diamond. So that's the first part. Now, basically, whichever assignment you get is based off of when you get down there to the assignments, you get to pick at that point. But the easiest one seems to be the binocular one. So all you gotta do is just look with the binoculars to find it. And then fitting the box into the wall isn't necessarily hard, but you have to go through so many boxes until you find the right one that actually fits. So that can be a little time consuming. But that scratching that paint off, that's literally the worst one because that was taking them forever. Like I don't know what they had to use, but it wasn't that beneficial because it was taking them a while to scratch the thing off. So really out of the 3, that was like the worst one to get. And pretty much if you were the last ones to come down after getting your hammer, you were the ones that got stuck with that assignment. So those people honestly took the longest. So everybody's doing their assignments, they're getting their codes, and they're running down to unlock their safes to get their diamonds. Then from there, they run down towards what they think it might be the finish line, and that's where they meet TJ at. And then there's 3 different podiums. You have a blue one, a pink one, and a green one. And now each of them have like a setup of 6 slots to put their diamonds in. So at that point, I'm kind of confused, like, what does this mean? I'm not understanding just yet. So as you come down with your diamond, you get to choose which team you want to be on by the colors. And it's the ruby cell, the emerald cell, and the sapphire cell. Ruby's the pink, sapphire's the blue, emerald's the green. It has to be 3 girls, 3 guys. Everybody, as they finishing, they coming down. You got some people that got there earlier than others. And as they got down there, they trying to strategize who wants to be on teams with who. So Cory and Nelson already knew off bat that they didn't want to be on the same team. They said as a rookie, if they were rookies, they would choose to be on the same teams. But they know now as vets that it's better to divide and conquer. So by being on separate teams, they can look out for each other easier that way than being on the same team. Which I agree is a better strategy overall because you can't help each other on the same team. Like, what am I going to do for you if we're on the same team together? Like, they can still come after us as a team collectively because we're on the same team. But if we're split up, then you got to decide who you want to go after. And then I can help you out if I'm not the ones that they choose. Type of ordeal. So that's how they were strategizing, which was very smart, I believe. But then you have other people like Devin and Josh who were like, no, we're gonna be on the same team. So like Devin, Josh, Casey, all of them decided they all want to be on the same team together because they're all friends, they trust each other. And like that's not necessarily a bad gameplay either. Honestly, you can play it either way. Like you can decide to divide and conquer, or you can just create a strong team out of you and all your friends. You all trust each other, so there should be no going back and forth. And y'all should have great communication in order to help y'all win challenges. So either strategy works well. It honestly just depends on what's your gameplay for the season, to be honest. So eventually everybody finishes their assignments and they all get assigned different cells based off when they got down there. They got to choose which ones they wanted. Or if you were one of the last people, you got stuck with whatever was left. So here's the new teams that we have. So for the Ruby cell, we have Cory, Priscilla, Emmy, Big T, Logan, and Kyle. That's their team of 6. Then for Sapphire, we have Nelson, Ed, CT, Bettina, Amanda, and Ashley. That's their team of 6. Then for the Emerald cell, we have Josh, Devin, Casey, Emmanuel, Nani, and Tori. That's their team of 6. So as of right now, these are the cells, / teams that we have for the challenge. But there's also a part 2 to the challenge. And that's where they have to free a diamond that's basically on like this scale. And they have to, one side of the scale, they have to lower it enough so they can retrieve their diamond out of the other side. So in order to free their diamond, they have to use the hammer to break down cinder block pieces and to lower the weight on one side of the scale to get the hammer out. So all the teams, they all doing their own thing, their own strategy. Some teams are taking bigger pieces of the cinder blocks and putting it on top of the scale to weigh it down so that more of them can put their hands inside of it to fill it up quicker rather than just one person trying to reach over the top to put smaller pieces inside of it. Then you got the Ruby team who they don't really have clear communication. They all kind of just doing their own thing and it's not going too well. So at the end of the challenge, we get the Emerald team wins. So as of right now, TJ tells them that that whole team is safe and that they have to go to nominations to decide which of the other 2 teams will be up for elimination. So my feelings on the new twist of them having teams, honestly, I love it. I feel like we haven't had teams on the challenge in a very long time. It's usually either been pairs or individuals, or it's been pairs that led individuals as the game went on. So the fact that this twist was that they were going to make teams out of it, I feel like that's good. It's in that sense, it's bringing it back to like old challenge times when they used to have teams more often, and that was always fun to watch because like you have to see bigger teams have to compete and communicate as a whole and make their way through the challenges and see who's going to dominate over who and just how all that was going to play out. It required a different level of politics when you're working with so many people at once, and also it made people have to like learn how to work as a big group, which a lot of them don't know how to do. A lot of people in the challenge are all alphas and have big egos, so everybody thinks they're right and everybody thinks they know the right way to do everything. But when you're working with a team of 6, you can't always be right. Like you have to learn how to compromise and you have to learn how to agree and figure things out. So I feel like this is gonna be a good twist for them. And it's something that they need. So with the Emerald team win, they know they have to nominate somebody to go for elimination. And so right now, they're like, Priscilla's the easy option, obviously, because of the whole mayhem she caused a few weeks ago. Like we can just throw her up. Cause for them, it's like to put somebody up, you need to have a reason to target them. So they're like, Priscilla already has a reason. It's easier to throw her up. But they also think about the fact that Ashley is also someone good to target. Because Ashley is such a strong player, to get her out of the game early will be beneficial to all the girls because none of them want to compete against her in the final. Which makes sense. You put Ashley in the final, she's probably going to do pretty well because Ashley's not going to give up. And Ashley don't like to lose. So Ashley's going to do whatever it takes. And everybody knows that. And also a lot of the vet girls don't trust Ashley because like even though some of them consider her a friend outside of the game, they know within the game Ashley word can't be trusted. She talks too much. She flips out too easily. She pretty much becomes like a hazard to a lot of people when they're in the challenge house. So like, yeah, they might love her outside the game, but in the game, a lot of people can't trust her too much. So they rather just get her out now and not have to deal with her for the rest of the season. And they don't have to look over their back worrying about, is Ashley gonna cross me? Is she not? Where do we stand right now? They don't want to have to worry about none of that. So they rather get her out right now. And I do understand the reasoning for wanting to get Ashley out, but I love Ashley. Ashley makes for a good time. Ashley argues with everybody, and she's a good player. So I like to see her around to compete because the past few seasons she hasn't gotten pretty far. She gets put in elimination, she's been going home. So I'm like, let this be her season, get a little further in the game. I just want to see her to continue to compete and do what she do best. But so really, as of right now, it's between like them either talking about Ashley or them talking about Priscilla. Because Devin says his strategy for nominating somebody is he wants to pick the best player off the worst team because it'll lower their chances of winning. But the chances are already low, but it'll lower it even more if you take their best girl away. It's a girl elimination this week. So if you take their best girl away, their chances are even lower than they already were. So and they also we already know the Rubies is just the worst team because they have so many rookies and they just don't have clear communication at the moment. And that's part of the reason CT didn't choose that team because it was so many rookies. And he was like, no, I'd rather be with people that know what they're doing, look like some physical threats, and can actually do well in challenges compared to Rubies who are all over the place. So then we get to the nomination ceremony, and each team pulls up in their respective colors. So Emerald's wearing green, Sapphire's wearing blue, Ruby's wearing red, except for Kyle. Kyle's wearing green, and it's like, You the only person that had to be different, and why? You couldn't just stick to the code one time. Just one time, you couldn't just wear it. Just wear the red. Just wear it. No, he could not, because he wants to manifest being on the Emeralds team. So Cory gives a speech about how team morale is low for them, and that they need to pick it up some kind of way and at least seem uniform, look uniform. And he's pretty much subbing Kyle. Him and Kyle are not on good terms right now, as we can see. And Kyle pretty much doesn't care. He admits he doesn't want to be on the Ruby team and that he wants to be on the Emerald team. And then we go into pretty much Devin tells all the girls that they don't have a decision made up yet, and so this is the time for everybody to plead their case to them. So pretty much all the girls go down the line and say their reasons for why they don't want to go into elimination. Priscilla talks about how the fact that she's never been to a final, so to keep her around and let her get to a final increases the odds for other girls that are also there as well. And she said she's already been to elimination, so she'd rather not go again. And that's one excuse I need everybody to stop using, because yeah, you've been once, but you can go twice. You can go 3 times. You can go 4 times. You can go every time as they send you down there. You just need to be ready at all costs. But everybody feels like, oh, okay, I went once this season, I shouldn't have to go again. And I get it, because everybody else hasn't gone either, but it's not how the challenge works. You might go a few times, especially on your rookie season. Then you have Ashley, who talks about how the past challenges she has won, that everybody talks about her being a challenge champion and being such a big threat. But she says the one she's won, she's had a team or a partner to help her out. She's never had to do it on her own. She says at that point, she's on the same level as everybody else, but they give her too much credit. And I'm like, yeah, Ashley, I see what you're trying to say. I see what you're trying to get at, but nobody trying to hear that. Nobody gonna take you serious. Ashley, we know you're a comp threat. When the time comes and you under pressure, you either gonna fold or you gonna thrive. And then when you get to a final, you're gonna thrive because you haven't gotten all the way there to lose and not win any money. So actually, you're gonna figure it out. Those vet girls know that, so that's why they're not really paying her no attention, to be honest. And then Emmy gives a whole speech that she wrote down on a piece of paper, saying how she loves everybody and she don't want to go into the elimination again. And yeah, a bunch of nothing, to be honest, that we didn't need, but she said it anyway because why not? So after everybody get their speeches, basically the winning team, which is the Emerald team, they all get to cast their nomination votes. And it becomes Priscilla, which wasn't a surprise. Like I said before, she was the easiest target to have. They don't draw too much blood because at this point they also don't know what happens when they get to elimination, because they've only picked the nominee. They haven't picked who she goes against. So as of right now, everybody's still confused on what all this new twist entails. So they don't want to do too much damage too early. Then we get to Elimination Ceremony. So we get there, TJ calls Priscilla down, and then he tells Priscilla she gets to pick her partner for elimination. It just can't be anybody from the Emerald team because they won. But she can pick somebody else from the Ruby Cell, which is her team, or pick somebody from the Sapphire team to go down against her. So I'm like, oh, okay, like that right there is really giving me kind of old school vibes, where you go down there, you pick who you want to go against, and you do what you got to do. Because at that point, that gives you the opportunity, like, yeah, they picked you to go down there, but you can choose to go against somebody that you feel like you can be and possibly has a chance to come back. Compared to past seasons, you can get thrown down there and they can put somebody up against you that they want to take you out. Now that takes all the power away from everybody else and puts the power in your hand to claim your victory and get back in the house. Pretty much Priscilla was like, I've been taking big shots this whole season so far, I might as well keep at it. And she decides to call out Ashley because she's like, my whole little beef started with Ashley, so I might as well end it right now. And either I can beat her and take her out and take out a challenge champ, or I can go home and lose to a challenge champ, which isn't a bad thing. So I was happy. I was like, okay, she's still taking shots. She's making big moves in the game. And that's something you should do as a rookie, like claim your place in the game. And I feel like she's done that this season. So then TJ goes over the rules for the elimination. And basically there's 8 tires buried in the sand, and they have to get all 8 tires in the sand and stack them up on a pole. But once they stack them all, they have to go look at this code that's on the tower, and it's like pretty much it's lit up and it lights up the order in which the tires should be placed, because all the tires are color coded. So it'll be like red, green, yellow, purple, and they'll light it up in the order that you have to restack all your tires into. So doesn't sound like that bad of elimination. It's pretty much, I feel like it's just based on endurance to be able to keep up throughout pulling out all them tires, and then just a little bit of memory to figure out the order they go in. So we start the elimination right at the back. You know, they both neck and neck. They both find their tires, getting them out, stacking them up. Good. No mistakes. Then I think Ashley getting the second drive, she get it going. Ashley started yanking them tires out one after one. She's up at this point by like 2 tires. So Priscilla got like 3, Ashley got 5, and she just going. She going. And like her strategy is to like use her body weight to move all the sand out of the way, to then grab the tire, while Priscilla's using her feet to kick the sand out of the way, which is taking her a lot longer. And like, yes, keeping the strength off her arms so she can use them later on when she needs it. And Ashley might get fatigued a little quicker because she's using all of her body, but Ashley's moving a lot further right now. So if she keeps this good enough lead as she has at the moment, it'll give her more time when it's time for her to restack up all the tires. So both of them, they keep going. Ashley's still in the lead, and Ashley ends up getting all 8 of her tires first. So then she figures out the light code, and she calls it out loud. and she calls it out, all the vets hear it. So all the vets, as she's trying to restack up her tires, they're reciting it to her over and over again so she doesn't forget it. And I feel like that was cool. Like, it showed a little, like, you know, morale still amongst the vets. Like, even though they don't have the veteran truce anymore, they're still able to work together and help somebody out that they want to see in the house. Which I'm still confused on how they want her in the house now, but they didn't want her in the house earlier when they were trying to decide who to nominate. But nonetheless, it was nice to see. So they help Ashley out. She ends up winning the elimination. I was happy for her. She hasn't won in a very long time. She started crying because she felt like she had so much love and support from the vets, and she felt like she finally had friends in the house because pretty much everybody hates Ashley every season. But they finally came together for her for this one time, so that was nice to see. I feel like Priscilla played a very good game. I feel like she's definitely gonna come back in the future. And I feel like as long as she keep training and she, you know, now she won't be a rookie anymore, so she won't get thrown down hopefully as often. So she can come back, do some damage, make some more power moves, and I feel like she'll be a good player for the challenge. She just gotta keep the work going. So then with Ashley's win, TJ tells her like she has the opportunity to choose which team she wants to go back to. But it's not even just between the two losing teams. She can also choose to steal someone's spot on the winning team and take their place, and I don't know yet what happens to them if you take someone's place off the winning team. But Ashley's best friend is Amanda, and she's currently on Amanda's team, on the Sapphire team. So she doesn't want to leave Amanda hanging by herself. So she chooses to go back to the Sapphire team where she originally was. So I'm like, that's very admirable. I get it. And also the Sapphire team isn't bad either. They're pretty stacked. I feel like between Sapphire and Emerald, they can both get any daily challenge as long as they play their cards right. Just depending on what it is and how well they work together. So it's not a bad look for her to stay on that team anyway and stay with Amanda to keep her like sane and focused, and they can get through all this together. But I am curious about what happens when you choose somebody from the winning team and take someone's spot. Then what team do they have to go on? Like, do they just go back to your original team, or how does that whole process work? So I'm interested to see what will happen with that later on as the season carries out. But I'm very excited about this twist. I'm happy we got something new. The season is getting good. It's heating up. The veterans finally going down to elimination, so we love it here. I want to keep it going. I'm ready for next week to be a male elimination. I want to see how that go. And then we just got good news that All Stars is coming back on Paramount Plus November 11th. That'll be on Thursday, so I can't wait to start reviewing that for y'all as well. So then we're going to have Challenge Season 37 and Challenge All Stars Season 2. Reviews going to be uploaded every week. We got it. I'm excited. And you know, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay here. Stay with it. And I'll catch y'all next week.